is Gloria Egbuji, a lawyer and the Executive Director of Crime Victim Foundation, Nigeria. I like helping victims of crime and other people because it is something I love doing from my school days in secondary school. And I've continued to do that. And it's my belief and passion that helping people gives me joy. And I like to see people who are suffering that I assist come back to me and say thank you. For me, life is about what can you give back to the society. It's not about how much money you have. I feel that even if I live, I spend my life, people should remember me for what impact I've left behind, not the amount of money I have. So that gives me that courage to continue to help. And I'm ready to continue doing it till I can no longer work, I retire. I pitched on assisting victims of crime because my husband was a victim of crime. A day after our wedding, he was attacked by armed robbers and nobody assisted him. So it's more empowered me to be a voice to assist those who do not get that kind of help. Crime Victim Foundation is an organization registered in Nigeria to assist those who become victims of crime and abuse of power. We work through referral, we work through volunteers, and we work in partnership with some government agencies, especially those who are relevant to what we are doing, like the police and the office of DPP office of the Ministry of Justice. And then the civilians also, we work with volunteer staff who come in to assist. A man walked into my office after we just launched Crime Victim Foundation to say, oh, my wife was in the house and the stray bullet hit her. He took her to the hospital. She was bleeding. She went to almost 3 hospitals. And before she could get to the 4th one, the woman bled to death. Because the hospital said they will not treat her because she doesn't have police report. And he didn't have time to go and look for police reports. So I put up a release on that, condemning the hospitals and what the police were doing at that time. So we continued on that. Some journalists came here, interviewed me, and everybody condemned me because this is people's right to life. I had the opportunity of talking to the police. Why are you, punishing hospitals that are treating victims of gunshot wound? They say, oh, because the firearm, this thing they have, there's a law they have that say that those with gunshot wound could be criminals. So they don't want them to be treated until they get reports. And we raised the issue that it's not only criminals that get wounded by gunshots, get shot. An innocent person can get shot. And then they said, well, that is what they do. And a lot of people have been dying because of that. We continue the struggle. And we felt that if this thing doesn't stop, many people will die because with high crime, a lot of people are dying. And this is fundamental. This is about life. So we started a campaign. We got involved with some people online, social media, and started a campaign about that. Until one day, some senators heard of it and moved it to the National Assembly. And the law was passed when Obasanjo was there. They passed it at the House of Assembly and then House of Rep, House of Senate could not complete it until that tenure ended. Then until Buhari's era came. When Buhari's era came, we continued our campaign. Until that same thing was passed into law. So today we have compulsory treatment for victims of gunshots and other knives and things like that. We have an act that protects those, even whether you're a criminal or once you have gunshot wound, the act say that the hospital should treat, which is what we are aiming at all along. So now, since 2017, the act is there, but they are not complying. The hospitals are not complying, and we are still continuing the campaign. We have now drawn the ear of so many people. People from all over the country are concerned, including even the wife of Senator Tinubu. Everybody is concerned. Nigerian Bar Association is concerned about it. So now that we worked so hard to get this act passed and signed, assented to by the president, we are still working to make sure that the people at hospital are complying. We are meeting with the hospitals, we are talking to the hospital at the highest level, medical, the president, we are talking to the police, we are talking to everybody concerned so that this law, this act that the president assented to can be complied with by the public, by the hospital. And not too long in July, somebody died. Many people are still dying because the hospital are still rejecting. And whenever we ask the hospitals, they say, well, if we do it, police will seal our hospital. I went to the IG's office, I put up a note there to make sure that the police are not harassing them. Now the law is there, but we still need awareness to make sure that the hospital comply with this. And it's very important to life because you never know until it happens to anybody. These days of high violence, we don't know who will be the next. And besides, the Constitution did not even say that criminals should not be treated. All that the Act said, treat, treat first, save life first, and then report to the police. So I'm very happy we have the Act in place and still continue to work until the awareness is created around the whole country. So that if anybody runs to hospital for the life to be saved, the people can do that. Right now, what we have is not happening. Since 2017, a hospital, two hospitals could reject a young man who is to wed on a Saturday, and they took him to hospital on a Monday, and he passed just because they refused to treat him. He was in his house at Ibadan. He didn't commit crime. Armed robbers just came into their house, shot him, and he was bleeding. They refused to treat him. Look at that. That is inhumane treatment. And we continue to work on that until the whole public and hospitals. The victim can contact our office at number 20 Lanra Woloku Street, Bagada Estate Phase 2. They can also visit our website. There are some cases that you can resolve even the day they brought it. Others you can take 1 week. Some you can take a month. Some you can take 5 months. And some can last as long as a year. But the good thing is that for those that take so long, we first of all make sure the victim is secured. And then we go for protection order while the case is followed up because of the slow process of our judicial system. So you cannot guarantee that your case will be dealt with as you wanted it. But the good thing, like I said, is that all victims that come to our office, we ensure their safety first. Their safety first. Once their safety, if a child is involved or children are involved, we also ensure that the child and the children are safe. If somebody is raped, we make sure immediately as that person comes that the hospital and other medical support is dealt with. Then if it's a case that will have to go to court, then we follow the process. This foundation has been on since 1996, over a decade or two. So it's countless for me to mention the number of cases we've resolved. But the thing that there are milestones we can, we've assisted thousands and thousands of victims of crime, and then we have milestones because as we work to give assistance to victims of crime, we're also working to make policy changes that will benefit the victims of crime. For example, we have moved for victims of gunshot wound to be treated, and now there's an act, a compulsory treatment for victims of gunshot, which we have achieved. In that case, we will not have victims dying who are not treated, because not all victims are victims of and they are not armed robbers, they are victims. And then other milestones like the human rights desk that we have said, those are all the milestones we've achieved. So we cannot clearly say, oh, we've assisted one victim, we've assisted thousands, and we've also made some milestones in key policy areas. Then, because such victims are the peculiar victims are those who are victims of sexual offense, the people who are victims of sexual violence by men. They feel that if they talk about it, they'll be stigmatized because of the kind of environment we have. And what I have to say to such people, if you become a victim of crime and you feel so shy that you don't want to aid, come to us. We have a listening ear. We are trained, very well trained to receive such matters, and we will assist that victim and keep their matters confidential. We empower where we can, and then we seek help from outsiders. We've been able to get help from federal government to empower some victims, and the help we got, we're able to set them up. Some of them are doing their business big time, some catering, some tailoring, and the rest of them. And where we're not able to even afford, we usually get assistance from people that assisted them. If police collect money from any victims who go to report case there, the police, the victim should refuse to give that money to them, because there's no way in the provision, the 1999 constitution, where the provision is there that money should be paid before a police can attend to a victim. Nothing there. It's illegal for them to do that. So the victim should tell the police that this thing is illegal. In the constitution, you're not supposed to collect money. And the good thing about it is that the police are the highest command, has already made it open that no police officer should collect money. So the police, those rogue police that are collecting the money, are doing illegal work. So victims should refuse to do that. And if they are forced to pay that money, they can come to our office and we help them get their money back. We've done it in a number of cases, and it wasn't difficult for us to get the money back to them.